It's clear, first of all, from your allocations that education and health are your priorities right now.
Yes, definitely. They do get the lion's share of the provincial budget, but we also have considerable investment in infrastructure, almost 41 billion over the 3-year medium term.
Okay, that's a very interesting one, because of course if Gauteng is to compete with other provinces around the world, this is going to be, this process of industrialization is going to be quite important. What sort of infrastructure projects are you looking at investing this money in?
Well, I think first of all there's considerable investment going into road infrastructure. There's 6 new roads that will be upgraded and widened. None of them will be tolled. 5.2 billion in this financial year to human settlements, particularly the mega human settlements because of rapid immigration into this province. Nearly 2 billion into health infrastructure, 3 billion into education infrastructure, as well as smaller amounts to agriculture. We have considerable investment, over 325 million into the Gauteng broadband network, and about 800 million to revamp various GPG government properties.
Well, I'm looking at your allocation of 1.3 billion to the Department of Economic Development to obviously grow the economy, reduce unemployment. What are the projects they're looking at investing this money?
Well, I think that firstly, obviously supporting the sectoral development in different corridors. Premier Makura has announced that we will be unveiling our economic development plan in May this year. That would be looking at stimulating the manufacturing industry, looking at agro-processing, finding ways in which we can use our historical advantages in mining to manufacture mining equipment, smart industries, green industries. But also I think what is also very important for us is the question of inclusive growth. And I think for me, one of the exciting innovations is the work we're doing around the mainstreaming of the township economy. There's almost 200 million rand that will go into upgrading various township economic hubs across the province. During the Interesano outreach program, we have found many township enterprises complaining about lack of infrastructure, lack of places for them to be conducting their businesses. We've also got a big campaign to formalize the informal economy. I think that's a very important developmental stage for any developing country if you want to mainstream those entrepreneurs. We have now registered 5,000 onto the provincial government database, and we're looking at our partnership with First National Bank to assist us in taking in the first cohort of 100 existing suppliers, developing their enterprises so that they can do better business with the Gauteng provincial government and ultimately exit the system and do business with the private sector itself.
You've made a very important statement about saving as much as 400 million. How will you go about that?
Yes, that's actually over the medium term. But clearly what we want to do is we want to spend on core services, health, education, social development, infrastructure. We want to spend less on travel, accommodation, catering. I think we also think we could save some money as a result of the broadband network on telecommunications. So all of those would be areas we would be looking to reduce expenses. That's important. Because as we know, we will be losing 2.9 billion over the medium term, over the next 3 years. We don't want this to impact on the quality and service delivery in health and education. So it does mean that we need to cut back on the nice to haves in order to make sure we focus on our core services.
You work in a tough province, I should say, in the sense that the goalposts keep moving. There's a massive amount of youth urbanization here. I wonder how you put a budget together when, from year to year, you're working with a picture that's constantly changing and evolving.
Yes, I mean, we've had an increase of 1.8 million residents moving into this province over the last 5 years, and clearly that puts enormous pressure on health, education, housing, all social services. It has its upside. because it means that this province has relatively more skilled labour than any other province. Almost 60% of our workforce has a post-school qualification. It means you have intensive economic development in our 3 mega cities. You've got a ready-made market for your goods and services, but clearly it also puts pressure. I think one of the things we've been trying to look at is how, from provincial owned revenue and also from our reserves, we will protect health and education over the medium term so that they can deal with some of the in-migration challenges without compromising the quality of service.
Let's just ask you this as well. We're looking at the city of just over 13 million people, a province of just over 13 million. 2 million of those people are unemployed. Do you believe the kind of allocations you've made today could put a dent in that figure significantly?
I think that clearly we all know that investment in infrastructure is good not only for broadening access to services, but it also is one of the direct ways in which government can create jobs. We are also looking at attracting in a further 10 billion rand in private sector investment through PPP partnerships into the province. I think that also is important in terms of job creation, but also infrastructure investment sets the basis for a new phase of economic growth. We obviously have a particular duty in this province to contribute to the national targets. Despite poor economic conditions, we do predict moderate growth of about 2.8% by 2018. And I think that if we do manage to stimulate a lot of the services sector, manufacturing sector, outreach into sub-Saharan Africa, I think that we should be in quite a good position to improve on those growth rates in due course.